This was better than I was expecting it to be. With so many independent wrestling shows these days, or just in general, I'm typically expecting anything from complete trash to a bad show. Maybe with one or two matches showing flashes of brilliance that might justify, at the very least, checking out matches from the wrestlers that had the most impact on me, whether I see their name on some indie show or not. With MPW's The Return, I expected to get a poor show at best, maybe hoping that the atmosphere of the promotion and or some of the wrestlers give me an excuse to sit through another 2 hours of whatever they have coming next week. But what I got instead was more than that. I actually got a decent show. Granted though, it didn't start out that way. I'd say the first two matches on the card went from bad to worse, with the opening match just being underwhelming at best, and the following match just being downright uninteresting and boring, which is the absolute last thing I want out of any indie promotion anywhere. The third match on the card, while not being all that interesting or engaging at first, somehow managed to win me over a little bit with a mildly interesting story between their female referee and a tag team that goes by the name The Millennials, which is just a tag team of two dudes being assholes. One of which who won't even look up during the opening minutes of the match from his phone. And I'll let you decide if that's an accurate representation of millennials. And now, sure, two dickheaded guys bullying a female referee almost half their size is an easy way to get a reaction out of anybody, but I say they pulled it off pretty damn well here, even with the referee shoving one half of the tag team after the match. And it's the little things that make me want to tune into the next show to see what happens next with the millennials and said referee. With indie promotions and with wrestling in general, you don't really have to do a whole lot to get me to come back and see the next show, other than just to deliver some inoffensive TV. The show really does pick up after that with a triple threat match for their MPW championship. Outside of their title holder, Miggy Rose, I really couldn't tell you much about the other two participants besides one of them being a decent high flyer and the other just being able to sell pretty damn well. I'll let you decide who's who for yourselves. After a slow start, the match picks up considerably and ends with a run-in resulting in the win for Miggy Rose, and left me with the feeling that this new heater of his was there to ensure a much longer run for the heel champion, hopefully building to a title win for someone like Barbie Boy, whom the fans seem to love more than anybody else on the show. Closing out the show was a main event match between Matt Vandergriff and Diego Valens, two guys that I'm not familiar with whatsoever, but one of which made me leave the show thinking that he's going to go places if he hasn't been already, and that guy was Diego Valens. The commentator of the show pointed out that Diego had victories over guys like John Morrison and Luchasaurus, leading me to believe that those two guys must see something in him as well as the fans of MPW if they were willing to take the fall for him and put him over. And honestly, after this match, I can't see how this guy isn't at least being scouted by the heads over at AEW if he hasn't already competed for them. Because he's a damn shoo-in for them. Diego might be a big fish in a relatively small pond, but I can see the potential in his wrestling ability to be something of a fan favorite wherever he goes. It's tough to compete with so many high-flying wrestlers being absolutely leagues ahead of your typical indie guy. See the freakish ability of Ricochet and the unmatched ability of Pac. But AEW isn't exactly a promotion that holds out for the best top rope guy of all time when they have shows like AEW Dark and Dark Elevation floating around on their YouTube channel. Honestly, he'd be absolutely perfect for those shows if nothing else. With that being said though, MPW's The Return wound up being a passable show, and I was not expecting passable. I'm willing to come back for another round because I believe that they gave me enough reason to. The crowd was pretty lively. The majority of the matches on the card at least gave me something to care about and get invested in. So, yeah, not bad. I dug it.